What's going on, everyone? So I'm back working on the Impala. The goal for this video is to get the headers, the drive shaft, the exhaust, and make the shifter linkage all in this video. That way everything dealing with underneath the car will be done. Well, not really, because I still got to do the fuel system, but I think I'll save that for another video. But the goal is to get most of everything underneath the car done on this video. So the first thing, I need to put the headers on, and the headers I'm gonna be using are these headers I picked up off eBay. For the price, they're fairly decent. I paid $280 for them, and these headers right here, they're pretty much, I would say, universal for LS swaps. I know they fit B bodies, they fit A body cars, and I think they'll fit G bodies, but I haven't tried them on the G bodies. I know the A body GM cars, it will fit. So in order to make these fit in my car, I have to heat up this pipe and bend it in a little bit. And I think the reason for that is because if you go back to the previous videos, I modified my brackets, my motor mounts, and it made the engine sit an inch forward. And I think that's where it's hidden on this bracket under here. So I think if you don't modify the brackets and keep it originally how it is, which makes the engine sit an inch back, I think you don't have to do any modifications to the headers. But in my case, since I did that, I got to make them work in my car, and it's not too much of a big deal. So let me do that and get them in the car. So I have both headers in. They both went in, not too bad. But now that I'm looking at it and seeing the clearance I had to make on the headers, I think if you get the regular motor mounts that goes to swap an Impala, I really don't think you will need to do any kind of modifications to the headers or the frame. But let me show you where I had to make some clearance on that chassis bracket underneath the car. So this is the bracket I was talking about that I had to grind to make some clearance for the header. It was the same on both sides, just to give it a little breathing room around that pipe. But that pretty much wraps up the headers. So the next thing on the list is the drive shaft. I could use the factory one, just put my 6L80 yoke on there with the right U-joint and be done. But on these B bodies, I like to use these P71 Crown Vic drive shafts on there because they measure the same length, which is 55.5. They're stronger and they're lighter. So say you have an Impala, this right here is a good upgrade option if you want to put it on there. All you need to do is get your 4L60 yoke off and get you 2 of these 355 U-joints, put them on, and you can get it in the car. But for my case, since I had a 6L80, I'm gonna use one of these 448s in the front and then one of these 355s for the rear. So let me get them on there, that way I can get the drive shaft in the car. And the drive shaft is in the car. I mean, there's nothing too special about installing some U-joints. They go pressed on, and that's pretty much it. Next thing, I need to make a bracket for this shifter linkage. As you can see, it already lined up with the transmission bolts. It's like 1.5 inches off. So what I'm gonna do is make a bracket that's gonna bolt up to the transmission, and then I can bolt the shifter linkage on. So I have the shifter breakage done. Next thing I'm gonna do is put the exhaust on, and let me show you what I have. So here's the exhaust system I'll be putting on the car. For mufflers, I went with Dynamax Super Turbo mufflers. I didn't want anything too loud, so that's why I went with these. And then the center section is from Flowmaster. It came with the X pipe and all the tubing. It's all 3-inch. And then I added these resonators on here, but I'm gonna do away with them, so I'm gonna chop them off and then just add a straight piece on both sides. So this is what the exhaust looks like all welded up. I had to beat it in a little bit right here because it got a little bit too close to the cross member, but it should be all right. And now I can get it back in the car. So the exhaust is in. Everything worked out like how I wanted. To hook up the exhaust to the headers, I used these little sleeve things right here. I don't really know the name for them, but I've used them before and I never had any problem with any leaks. So that's how that's attached, and I got good clearance up there on the cross member, and that pretty much wraps up the exhaust, and it dumps out right there before the wheels. And it's pretty tucked in under the car. It don't really hang or anything like that. As you can see up here, the headers don't hang, just a tiny bit, but it's all right. So I'm gonna stop this video here. On the next one, I think I'm gonna be working on the fuel system and maybe starting the car up. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.